right, y'all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo! I was ready for that one to be over.
It was you. It was a lot. It was a
It was
lot.
a lot. I did not like 22. I want to go ahead and put that on the record.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's get this thing started.
Welcome to Shooting the Shoe with Rhonda and T. Tonight, we are reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5 Reunion Part 1. How many of these going to be? 3?
I think. Or 4. I don't know.
No, please don't be that many. It ain't that much to talk about. We went all the way back in
3, I think. Let's go with 3. That sounds good.
All right. So this episode starts off with Carlos visiting.
Before we start, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel.
I forgot because D ain't here right now. Maybe he'll make an appearance later on.
Yeah, I think he should come later.
Yeah. So it starts off with Carlos visiting the dressing rooms. Hey, y'all don't see these over in the corner. Give me this. Might make
it had to be done. I was like, Carlos looked like he'd been working out, unless he just doesn't normally wear them tight shirts. But he seemed like he was a little
trying to put a little something.
Yeah.
So they go to Tisha's room, and Miss Wanda's in there, and she doing the good knees challenge. What was she down there getting them? Good knees.
Well, she's already down there. I thought about that. I was like, when you're that small, it doesn't take much to go ahead and
So he told Wanda she's responsible for all the fireworks, and Tisha like, you know who's responsible, the one with the Mr. T chain. I was like, so you're starting early.
Well, that was one gorgeous ass Mr. T, because I remember that day and she looked lovely.
She did. He go in Martell's room and he's talking to Sheree. And he say to Sheree, is there anything that you want me to ask him, or you want the audience to know? And she want us to know that he's a perfect gentleman and he's a good guy and a great dad, and it's not everything that you see on TV. Yeah, okay.
We saw didn't what happened on TV. We see all their shit not on TV.
You gonna say your part?
Happy New Year, G.
Happy New Year's.
No.
You gonna say your part for me? I'm gonna say it. Come on, because we're in the middle of it.
Then why would you say it?
Who?
You.
Why did you say it?
I already said it.
He said why?
Because you weren't there.
Y'all couldn't say nothing.
Okay.
Oh, that's not how this works.
Can you do it at the end? We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anyway, Martell talking about you gonna get a ring for that, girl. I'm like, oh boy, stop. And then Carlos shady self gonna ask, are you in love with him? Of course, Sheree didn't answer that. Clearly they're not, because they're already broken up, right? Right? Ain't that what the word on this curve is?
I mean, it's okay for them to be not broken up. It's okay for them to be doing whatever they're doing. We just don't believe it's not love.
It's definitely not love.
If she just smashing, and that, I don't have to say that, Carlos. It is what it is.
It's something to do. That's what it is. So they come out. First one to come out is Kimmy in her outfit. Hated it. I hated it. I don't know. I don't understand why. I hated it.
See, this thing right here is exactly what I've been saying about Destiny the whole time. And I have nothing to do. We already know Kimmy has a good body. It has nothing to do with that. It was the most unflattering thing. I don't know who could have pulled that off or why they would want to. She came just like Morticia.
I thought it was like a dominatrix type.
I mean, she was Morticia, Maleficent, something in like negligee, lingerie. Legs and titties falling out, and then she had like thigh things.
It was too much.
You know what it reminded me of? Remember when J-Lo wore that outfit with Puffy, and everybody was talking about the J-Lo dress, and then after that, it was like the nakedest red carpet. Everybody had to come down the red carpet with like the skimpiest thing they could find, just I don't know, to try to get somebody to say something. And that's what that reminded me of. I was like, Kimmy, that was
It wasn't cute.
And
This
then
we had
that wig was not good either. Like
Then we had Marcel and Tisha. He called them Diana Ross and Barry Gordy. You already know what I'm gonna say. Looking like a solid gold dancer. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't feeling the fringes.
well,
I don't
and
know.
we
I just felt like it
because
didn't
y'all, we
feel
watched
good.
this together. It was New Year's Eve, and that's how we like whooped it up. We were like together watching this.
Right. I didn't feel like it fit her. It just wasn't a cut for her. I don't know what it was.
I think she looked nice. That's it. That's all. Like she's got beautiful skin, and it was nice. It was so much better than what she had last time. It didn't
That
wow
sound was
me, but I
horrible.
think she
That sound
looked
was horrible.
nice. Yeah, she didn't. She, you know, you don't like the solid gold dancer thing. So every time somebody comes dressed in a gold dress with shingling things all over it,
Yeah, I don't like
you know,
the
reference solid
the
gold
shingles.
and Marilyn McCoo.
Yeah.
You know, she looked nice.
She was pretty though.
Yeah.
And then Martell came out, who is clearly Carlos' competition. Like you said, he's in competition. You said
That's what it is. Carlos was
it's
wearing that tight
Martell.
shirt. So yeah. Well, I mean, Martell was Martelling. Carlos, don't try to compete with that because that's not.
But
And
even
Martell
when he came on the late night show, he had made a comment that he was worried about what was Martell gonna wear, and he's in competition with Martell.
Martell's not scared to go fashion, and I don't be mad at it most of the time. It just always be too tight.
That's Martell's thing. Like he's missing it. He need to leave the wine alone, and maybe he should do a suit line.
He should do suits.
That works.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. I can see these people wearing Martell suits at the prom and stuff, like, because that's the look.
I'm not mad at it. He's the only one. Like they don't even try to compete with him because he's,
everybody know because honestly,
him and Mel look really nice. Like
they did. And then I don't ever remember what Marceau or Maurice ever have on. Never. It doesn't.
Marceau looked nice because he usually don't.
Because he was.
I said he looked nice. Like that was probably like one of the nicer suits I've seen him wear. I can't gray even see what it looked like. Now I can't unbury Gordy Diana Ross that shit when I think about what they had on. And yeah, Maurice is always kind of unremarkable. It's just.
This is kind of who he is as a person, huh? Yeah. But Melanie come out as the queen because she had the queen outfit on. She definitely was that.
Well, she's definitely the queen.
Yeah.
That's why some people are so bothered.
Well, Martell definitely wasn't bothered. Did you see the look on his face when she came out?
And I heard Carlos call her Melody Cherie, and Martell said,
he said, "Ho." Yeah. Oh, okay, Sheree, y'all are so in love. Okay.
Yeah.
So he starts off the show doing a flashback showing everyone's accomplishments, and he says everyone deserves a praise, and they all clap except for Mel. She says she not clapping because she ain't proud of nobody. She said last year she congratulated everyone and it didn't air, so this year she don't care what everyone is doing. Well, that's not the cast's fault that it didn't air.
Well, I feel like she was low-key coming at Carlos a little bit.
Is that what it was felt?
I felt like there was a couple times she let Carlos.
Well, she definitely did that one time, but we'll get on that. Yeah. Well, Maurice,
it's so funny because when she was saying, when she was doing that, Marceau said something like, well, you're not going to be successful like that. And I was like, at what point is she not successful? Wasn't she actually successful before this even started?
Sound like she helped make them successful. But we'll get on that. Maurice do this whole I'm proud of everyone's speech. And she's like, well, make sure your action shows that. So
Dad, me coffee.
So Carlos basically asked, what do she think of his little speech, in spite of speech? And she's like, he's always giving those little Martin Luther King speeches. He does. It's irritating.
He does.
When he started talking, I was rolling my eyes. I'm sorry. I was like, here he go. Here he go.
Can you imagine the both of them together all the time? Because Marcel thinks he's so much smarter than everyone. And Maurice thinks he's the voice of reason in the midst of whatever, they got going on.
That's why they bump heads. That's
why because Maurice is the older brother.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't seem like it.
Mm-mm. So Kimmy's asked, has something happened between these two that causing this friction? And Mel says Maurice downplayed her and Kimmy's relationship. Like, and Maurice was like, well, I mean, but they not close friends like that. But Kimmy was like, well, Mel has also done interviews saying that, they don't hang out as friends. So it's the same thing.
I don't think it's the same thing, though, because I think what was happening in that moment was Mel and Kimmy always been cool for the most part. They ain't never had no drama. I think it was more so him like trying to say her friendship ain't genuine in the midst of, because she's like, she brought me this, she did this for me. They named off all the things that Mel was doing. And I feel like Kimmy said Mel was her friend. Maurice, though, like, he should have just didn't say nothing. I just feel like it's different her saying I'm not close to. I got friends that, like, are my friends, but they're not, like, the people that I talk to or that I would go to. You know what I'm saying? So it's levels to friendships. Hell, Kimmy sat up there and said, ain't nobody on the show really like my friends.
So that was a big to her and,
I mean,
Tisha catch that too. But I'm indifferent. I feel like, well, one, I agree. I feel like that Maurice shouldn't even said nothing. Don't even involve yourself in female business. You just stay out of it. But I do think that Mel says it all the time that the people on the show was not her friend. So despite it coming from
I just
Maurice,
think that's what it was. Maurice, like, I think it was more so her kind of, because it's like everybody against Mel. And it was just Maurice again trying to like distance himself. And she like, it ain't that. Like, we cool. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no issues. He should have just, the fuck.
Yeah, like I said, despite it coming from Maurice, if it had came from Kimmy, it's the same thing. Like I said, Mel say all the time, these are my friends.
But Kimmy wouldn't have said that. Because Kimmy is always more eloquent the way she said it then, but
she said it, but
she said it just to defend his dumb ass. It seems like when you have a dumb nigga, you always end up not looking good trying to, you know what I'm saying? But
well, she had a point. She said, these people, y'all keep writing people off because of a statement. That's not the whole, I'm now mad at you because you made this statement. Like she said, Mel made a comment about Maurice, and then she had people all up in there like, oh, Kimmy finna be mad, Kimmy finna do this. She like, I'm not gonna write people off just because y'all doing these daggers.
Yeah, but even in that situation, she said that because this nigga said she was the center of all the drama. That's what Maurice said.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos said, how do you feel about Maurice saying you're the center of all the drama? And she said that from the least, like, once you say something to her, she gonna say something back.
She gonna say it, but she petty just like the rest of them.
Well, I'm petty, so maybe that's why I don't be that bothered.
Yeah, and I'm more like Kimmy. It ain't that serious. It just ain't that serious. I'm not gonna be ready to fight or, come on here with a whole attitude. I'm just not. Carlos said
everybody loves her though. Everybody loves Kimmy, so she can afford to be in that place. I think when everybody is, and I'm not saying Mel is innocent by no means. I'm just saying she sat on that stage knowing everybody's coming for me. So fuck it then. I'ma just run it. What am I gonna do?
So Carlos says that everyone around there throws fun shade. I don't think the shade is funny.
I
I
don't know
think
why
they
that's even
all
a term. I
come
don't
for
think
each
there's
other.
any such thing. I don't
But
think there's
it
any
ain't
such
it
thing.
ain't fun. It's not fun by far. Everybody comes for everybody on the show. Including him. Because he says Scott Manor is the new Chateau Sheree. I was like, oh, he trying to bring up Sheree. Throwing shade at Mel when he made that comment.
He killed like, ooh, I didn't even hit that one. That was 3 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, he did.
He shaded
he did.
Sheree, Mel, and them all at the
He
same
sure
time.
did. He sure did.
I know that Sheree is a shade towards Mel. I think they think it is. I think she's fine.
I don't think Mel is bothered like they want her to be
Like
bothered,
they want her
but
to
they
be.
throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to have that conversation so bad.
I don't know. Once your nigga have a baby with another girl, the next relationship kind of is
right.
Like I said, she probably looking at it like, well, at least it ain't that over there, clown sitting on got doggone live looking the
And
fool.
that one's still acting a fool. Sheree ain't got nothing bad to say. She ain't beefing with her, you know. But that's Carlos. I kind of feel like the whole relationship and everything was set up by Carlos. I'm just
probably
saying.
is like they got introduced by somebody.
Yeah. You was on Carlos show.
How many friends do Sheree have in Huntsville?
None. He already said him and Sheree was really close. You know what I'm saying? And she was on the show. I feel like he did that. I feel like
that's what everybody kind of thinks that, but he was like, no, it wasn't me. So I'm like, so then who did it?
It was him.
You have, some random person that you know in Huntsville?
It was him. So he gets on Tisha being the majority owner of Scope because she brought Martell out, and he asked Martell, hey, do you regret that? And she's like, well, you should, because, and he was like, why? Well, before it was in negative, now it's a multi-million-dollar company. And Martell response was, well, forget the shady part though, because he do that. His thing was, most companies take 45 years to see growth. So it's not uncommon that it was in a negative.
Well,
and then
that's the first part. That's the first part. He's absolutely right about that. I personally enjoyed Martell's shade. Like, it's funny because him and Mel are divorced, so they really don't have nothing to lose. So they kind of, enjoyed like being here. But there's that, and I do remember like they came to him and asked him to be bailing them out
of Scope. Or whatever it was before it was Scopes, because Scope is their name. Holt,
right, and Scott's together. But I feel like it was them that came to, because they were in a financial hole.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened prior to, but I know when we met them, they were in a financial situation. That's how we met them. Well,
and based on that house they living in with them pocketbooks hanging on the door in the closet, they still don't look like they multi-million-dollar what? Shut up!
They keep
Stop!
They keep saying it.
All them plastic ass hangers.
So Marcel says that the assets that Mel and Martell brought to Scope was the experience, and he brought the builder's license and knowledge on how to run a company. Well, like you said, they came together because you didn't have that much knowledge. And Mel had a builder's license too. So if that's your only claim to fame,
they didn't need you for that. They didn't need you for
that. Then they asked him about working with Tisha, and his response was he still preferred not to. Okay. And Tisha's like, I want a successful couple to show us how to separate business and work. Well, I'm like, well, that's not going to work because he's not going to listen to him, because clearly Courtney tried to have a conversation with him, a successful company that works together. And he ain't trying to hear that. He just don't.
Courtney likes Stormy.
He also say he just don't want to work with Tisha. He's never gonna like that. He wants.
I feel like I work for a successful couple. Like, they started out on a very small scale, and I have been able to be a part of watching them grow. You know what I'm saying? into a very successful business. They also like each other. You know what I mean? Like they're married, so they get on each other's nerves, I'm assuming, like any other married couple do. But they enjoy each other and respect each other for what their position is in the company, right? He don't have no respect for Tisha.
He
Wash
don't.
the dishes, take the kids to school, do wife shit. That's what I got
That's
you
what he
for.
wants her to do. He's never going to respect her in that role, so it doesn't matter. So evidently it's a lawsuit out there against their company, and Carlos brought it up. He's saying that it was hurtful and embarrassing when the lawsuit came around. They had just signed the contract with this company, and then COVID hit. I tried to look up some information. I don't know too much. You know anything about the lawsuit?
No.
Okay.
I know he didn't explain anything either. So
No,
he
he
really
just
didn't
said
give us nothing.
That's why I was trying to look something up real quick. Because I was like, well, that's not making sense. What is the lawsuit about?
We don't know what the lawsuit is.
Yeah. So Tisha gonna say that this lawsuit is also the reason for the African trip. Well, you never brought that up before, Tisha.
Well, can I just ask this? I'm assuming the lawsuit is about money. Just go throw that out there, right? Because that's generally, what that is. So then is it a good look if you have a lawsuit against you and then you open a bar and then you go to Africa? That all sounds like a lot of money. Like, is these people over here looking at you like, so then?
Yeah, to me, this is what I'm thinking. That's why I try to pull it up. Because he said, and then I was working on this project and I was working on this project. And it sounded like you signed a contract with this company, didn't do no follow through, because now you're saying I had these other projects going on, But like you said, Black opened up during this time. You didn't went all the way down to
Africa. Bar opened up during the pandemic. Now,
yeah. So
I also say that he said he was embarrassed because this was his first big contract.
So is this the contract that Tisha got for him?
Or is it the contract, or was Martell or Bell somehow responsible for this?
No, I feel like this is the one that Tisha hooked up for him. That huge one that Maurice was congratulating him on, that real big one that he was supposed to have. Because he was saying that was his biggest contract, but that was the one that Tisha.
It fell through. Unfortunately, that wasn't a success. So then where did the 17 million come from?
Who got 17?
Because if you got 17 million, that's what he said he made.
He ain't the child, please. He ain't got that.
I bet you
he adding all his assets up. He ain't got it. I guess if he liquidate the bar and all of that, what it will be worth. That's what I'm guessing.
I don't know anybody's bar worth 17 million.
Well, I mean, scope and the bar and all of that, He's doing liquidation prices.
Oh my God.
So
what does Scope do? Since they're a multi-million-dollar company, that's what I'm saying. So then, what does Scope do? Like, what is this lawsuit? Like you said, you're in a multi-million-dollar company. You went to Africa. You got a bar. Why don't you just pay the people? And then the thing, it's $5 million, right? $5 million lawsuit. That part, I think I did hear. That's the number.
Is that what it was? 5 million?
I feel like 5 million is the number. So then why don't y'all just pay the money, pay the people?
It probably because he didn't construct whatever he was supposed to do.
So the money, though, the lawsuit is monetary, though. That's what I'm saying. Pay them. You got it. You got a multi-million-dollar company over there. I don't understand.
He's never wrong.
I need more explaining.
He's not. That's why I try to look it up. But he's never wrong. He's not going to admit to that. He's just not going to hand over any money because he's
Tisha,
never wrong.
That's why he went to Africa.
Well, Martell, the look on his face when she said that, he was like, so it kept him away from his family. That's why he went to Africa. She was like, he wasn't at the gym. She always go back to Mel and Martell's issue.
I know she thinks that was a read, but he wasn't at the gym. He was all the way in Africa.
Right.
without
So,
you. So what was he doing over there, Tisha? We don't know.
well, Carlos said, I asked her how did she feel about him being 16 hours away by himself. And she said, well, first she was upset, but then she understood and she trusts her husband. So
I would get mad every time somebody said Africa. It might make me have, what do you call it, PTSD?
Well, she asked Kimmy, they asked Kimmy, could Maurice do it? She was like, no, real quick.
Kimmy said no faster than he could get that question out of his mouth.
I felt like Kimmy said that before on the show. Like, no.
She didn't want that. She was very uncomfortable with them asking Kimmy that. She didn't want to.
Right. So she said God will reveal if Marcel was cheating on her. Okay, but so far she hasn't had any proof. So then they brought up his back situation. They both was like, that's not his back. That was his back, girl. Then he said, well, Martell said,
like I told you the other day, I done bust a nigga out over a thumb. You not finna give me no whole back. I'm sorry.
But they said Martell said he had 20 girlfriends. Okay, so what about that? She was like, well, he hasn't gave me any proof. If it was some proof out there, Mel and Martell would have been and put it out. So it ain't no proof out there. And the receipt that Martell had, he told her that Marceau had been with a woman for 4 years and he had bought her, I guess, a matching Mercedes. But there's no proof of it. So then he asked Mel, was you lying about?
Tisha, like Tisha, nobody is asking you to leave your husband. I don't know why she keeps saying that leaving her husband, but it's not even normal for her to just not acknowledge that she has had doubts at some point in 15 years. That sounds stupid. I don't know nobody in a relationship that long that has at some point at least had doubts. Nobody is asking you to say, yeah. I mean, most people don't get proof.
Well, she said she need proof. She said because she ain't just leaving her husband.
What kind of proof does she need? Like, I'm sorry.
You want to send me action or pictures or something? I don't know. I thought the one him laying in bed was pretty good.
It would be
the explanation that he told
won't even
didn't pan out.
acknowledge it though, because any normal person would be like, yeah, this makes me as uncomfortable as hell. Ever since we've been on this show, I feel like there's some other thing, that I have to deal with. That's that. But she's like, no.
Well, then they said to Mel, was you lying when you said Marcel was cheating? And she said no. And he said, well, do you know for a fact? And she said, well, let me ask you, because you have been privy to a conversation. And Carlos was like, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. What are you talking about?
So I was thinking, Carlos, remember like last reunion when you was telling that girl that she didn't measure up to coleslaw and how that was all of that stuff you was saying to her? She was like, Remember that time we had a conversation and the girl was on the phone? Remember that?
So this conversation is about the hairdresser, evidently, the girl that he was supposed to be messing around with. So I guess that she was supposed to come on the show. Well, but the thing is, she said that they had only offered her $5,000 and that wasn't enough money for her to come on there. But if they had offered her more, she would have. And this is Tisha saying the story. And I was like, so Tisha, if they had offered her more money, she would have came on and said, yeah, she was having an affair. But since they
I was like, so she was going to come on the show and say what?
Right.
So then what's the then? So if she is or if she ain't.
Right. So the girl was upset with Mel because the Mel put the girl on blast. And the girl, I guess it affected her business because she's a hairdresser.
We didn't know who she is until she went on live with those two. I didn't know who she was.
I knew who she was, but they brought her on. Mel said who the girl was. She said it was Martell's cousin, the hairdresser, that was
Oh,
doing
okay.
her and Tisha hair. But Tisha brought her on there like, have you ever did my hair? You know. But yeah. So if they had offered her more money, she would have had her proof. But since they only offer her $5,000, it wasn't worth her coming on there blowing up her spot. Okay.
But you blew up your spot anyway. So then, how much did Tisha and Marcel pay you to do that spot? Because
More than 5,000.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
So
I mean, Tisha, this sounds very stupid. This ain't working in your favor. You
it
just
sounds real stupid. So then Marceau get to ask, well, how would Mel know what she was gonna come on there say? Because that's her friend. Didn't she just say that they were best friends? Your
They
wife
talked
just
about
said they
it.
was best friends. So I mean they talked. So he started firing off questions like he always do, not giving nobody a chance to talk because that's his MO. He was doing the same thing with Kiki, talking loud and firing off questions. And Mel was like, I'm not arguing with legs, hips, and breasts.
And body.
Mhm. It was too much. So evidently, Carlos said it was a conversation between cast members, all of the cast, to what was off limits to talk about. Okay. And Martell put Kimmy on blast, like, yeah, Kimmy said don't talk about Maurice hanging out after 4 p.m. So they was like, Kimmy, why? Why feel
4
like
a.m.
for
4
it was 4
a.m.
a.m. Oh, I thought it was p.m. after 4 o'clock.
Why wouldn't he be
That
able to hang
doesn't
out
make
after
sense.
4 o'clock?
Huh?
Why wouldn't he be able to hang out after 4 o'clock?
No conversation about him hanging after 4. For 4 a.m. he at work. She don't want you to talk about him hanging out at night after work hours.
Who's at work at 4 a.m.?
That's what I'm saying. That don't make sense saying 4
So
a.m.
he's hanging out until 4 a.m.
Right. She don't want y'all talking about him hanging out after 4 p.m. after work hours. She
I
said
gotta look because
that was
I just feel like there's
misleading.
nothing wrong with hanging out after 4 p.m. But if he ain't coming home until after
But
4 a.m.,
if they having parties after work at Credit One, it's a problem. That's after hours. That's after work hours. Well, she said it's misleading to women, regardless of the time.
what women?
The women that he's meeting up with, I don't know. She just said it's misleading. It didn't make sense.
Kimmy, Kimmy, what women are you talking about?
Well, Carlos asked, well, what about these sex parties I'm hearing that's going on at Credit One? And then here go Maurice. All I know is somebody is gonna find himself with a lawsuit. Why? Is it not sex parties? Just answer.
That's not big enough to even have a lawsuit over. Why are you that mad? Now you look guilty because that sounds stupid. It would have just been easy to be like, ain't nobody partying, no sex party.
Right. Well, Kimmy brings up, well, just to let you know, my office was upstairs. It wasn't no sex parties.
Yeah, but what time did you go home? You stayed there until they were done with the party?
And she also said all this happened before they were even married, so your office isn't there now. So you're talking about years ago.
You don't know what was going on down
right. Due to my years ago.
Wait, you know what? Call Kiowa. Bring her back over here.
Because you said you had an office upstairs.
First you went down to the barbershop and get your son's haircut. Now you have an office at the same place.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you was the sex party that was happening at Credit One.
Just like Kimmy. Okay.
She said they were just hanging out there playing music. That's what all of them used to always come over there and do. And I'm like, Martell cheated. So Derek got arrested for messing around with underage
Underage.
We
Chris
still
around here being inappropriate.
Yeah. I'm just saying it ain't looking good. The people that's hanging, they all seem a little guilty.
And then why did Marceau say Well, Martell wasn't really hanging out over there. What was that about?
No, he said he wasn't. He said I wasn't there the least. I was there the least amount of time. She was like, but you were there. He trying to back up. I wasn't there a lot. I was barely there.
Sure.
So then Carlos asked Martell, has Marcel been with women besides Tisha? Has he been with any woman since he been with Tisha? And he was like, I'm not going to speak on that, but his facial expression spoke on everything. Okay.
Because he's like, don't want to answer that, but I mean,
Right. Then he asked him, well, did you guys have an apartment together? And he's like, we've never owned an apartment together. And Maurice was like, we own Stag Run. And Marcel was like, no, we didn't. And they was like, yes, you did. So then Kimmy stepped in and was like, I mean, we all on Stag Run.
So this is my question. Is Stag Run an apartment building?
That's what it sounds like.
And so that if they all owned it, then what does that mean? That means they have access to.
Exactly.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Kimmy keeps trying to like.
Kimmy does the Tisha. Everybody talk about Tisha and taking up for Marcel, but Kimmy does the exact same thing when it comes to Maurice. And y'all just don't want to see it because everybody loves Kimmy, but Kimmy does the same thing.
If somebody said to me, yeah, they be having like parties down to the barbershop after the thing closed, and it's women down there, and I would probably be like, ain't none of that surprising me. I'm not gonna be like, that's not true. They just like to hang out after work. And
so Carlos says to Tisha, if it's some truth to the rumors out here, I feel like that you will not be able to deal with the reality of it. And she was like, I mean, I would be devastated if my husband was out here cheating. But she gonna ride with her husband till there's some evidence. I wish she quit saying that because I just felt like I said, somebody's at home getting the evidence ready because you keep asking for it.
Like if there was evidence that Mel and Martell would have said something, like you keep trying to make it seem like Mel and Martell are coming for your marriage, and Mel and Martell have literally sat there and said nothing. They haven't said nothing.
Martell kind of said it with his face though, and that's who's
he was asked though. He didn't volunteer.
Been saying it from day one. Is that dang on Martell.
But why Tisha have so much hate from Mel? It's weird. Like I feel like I know the answer, but
you know the answer.
Like you hate her a lot.
Carlos asked Tisha, if it was evidence, would you leave your husband? In a roundabout way, she went around, but then she was like, "Yep," because cheating is non-negotiable. You don't have to answer that question.
Well, I was getting ready to say that's a stupid. You shouldn't even said that because you don't know what you're gonna do in that moment,
right?
Especially after y'all invested 15 years into it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Like how can I answer a question about something that has not happened?
I did not like how Marceau let her.
He let her take all of that.
Just take all that. He didn't defend her. He didn't step in.
You know why? Because he figured if I say something, I might have to answer a question. So let me just don't say anything and let her do that.
Ooh, that was cruel. That was real cruel. So then,
Tisha, remember just how Carlos came for Mel last time? It's your turn this time. Look like Carlos set you up.
He did. It was like, I don't know if she made him mad or what, but it sure was a competition.
She kept coming for her.
But Kiki and Wanda came out.
Who was it? That was Sheree that said, back to Sheree again. That was Sheree that said Drew looked like a busted can of biscuits. Wanda looked like a busted can of biscuits.
Oh no.
Yeah, she did.
It was too tight.
It was too tight.
It was way too sharp.
And it was the same color as biscuits be when they come busting out that can.
But they, like I said, all three of them was sitting up there looking like triplets. Her, Kiki, and Wanda sitting up there on that stage. So the whole thing came up about Mel inviting Kiki to the sleepover. And what was the real reason for Mel inviting Kiki? And Mel goes to, how long she's known her first and blah, blah, blah.
I wish she would quit doing that. Just say what it is.
Later on, she said she wanted her to express to how Tisha is. So I'm like, well, just say that then. Just say here's her cousin.
I'm tired of being the only one in here. Keisha keep coming for like I'm crazy. Like I needed an ally. So yeah, that's what it was. What you call it? She shouldn't feel bad about that because Tisha brought Kiowa on there to call Kimmy a side chick, so it ain't like she's above it. She, she do the same shit. She just don't like it when it's done to her. But Kimmy, now I'm side-eyeing that whole situation.
Well, I told you I didn't believe Kimmy from the get-go.
You was at the baby shower. Then you was down to the barbershop because you saw him on Instagram. Did you go down to the real estate and be like, oh, wow, your office is here too?
The girl said you came to her sex party, the toy party with your friend. That girl that you brought on the show, that y'all came to her party when she was married.
Kimmy brought people on the show to say, you know what I'm saying? Everybody does it. So yeah, Mel did it too.
So they got to talking, I guess, about Marcel when he got into that accident, right? So they said that Kiki said that Mel hired somebody at the state of Alabama to pull their records.
Tiffany. Did she work down to the thing?
she worked somewhere up in there. That's probably who it was. And she said she didn't do it. So Tisha like, you just being Mel's puppet. And she acted like she was upset and she ran off the stage and they all went after her and then she come back with these puppets of Mel and Kiki.
See, when they use that term, you living rent-free in my head.
Yeah.
You went and had puppets made all the way down to the outfits. Like you had to make the pajamas. You had to put the...
It was a girl. I didn't even realize till you said it that was some pajamas they had on at the thing.
And for whatever it was worth, the Tisha, the shit fell flat. It was whack. It was real whack. It was whack.
It wasn't funny. And they was laughing at you. They was laughing at like, this girl.
She's stupid.
That's what it was. So back to this little car accident. They said Mel was asking what type of car was. And Marceau said the reason why she was asking that, because she was trying to say, how could he afford a car like that, which was some out the blue stuff. But then Kiki was like, she might have said something pertaining to that. I was like, oh, so you was going back and forth between Mel and Tisha. You was going over there telling Tisha stuff Mel was saying about you. Like old boy said, you playing the double agent. She's saying she ain't, but that's exactly what
you are. Because how else would they know that? Yeah. And Mel, you did it. You did. You called somebody and was like, find out how the thing, Yeah. Tiffany, did Mel call you and ask you to find out,
Now, why though? That's what I want to know. Why would you know which car he was in?
That's the car he be over to the
that type of car had something to do with it. He tried to throw us off talking about could he afford it? No, that type of car has something to do with it.
What is the Speedway? What do they own? What's the department's called?
Stag run.
They was at the Stag Run in that car.
Cause then
He tried to throw us off with his truck. That's not what it was.
ain't that
And
the
then
same
it was
car?
a perfect story because they was at camping.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
Perfect. You know, Marcel liked to ride through somewhere, say I was there, and then be out, but he ain't make it because
Like them 2 hours he was with Chris in Atlanta.
Yeah. Your daughter's
It was
calling
more
you.
to that. It was more to that.
Hold on, this is your daughter. Hold on.
Oh, I was snapping. Child, cause this be some long reviews. Okay, so anyway, what was we talking about? Oh, Epithel. Okay, so Kiki and Tisha, they talk about their beef and go way back to when they was kids and stuff. So I feel like if they beef like that, that was another reason Mel knew Kiki and Tisha got a love-hate relationship.
Well, we know the whole
he knew you was gonna
how
tell
Wanda sets up the whole, I guarantee you she's been telling, especially since they look alike. You know what I'm saying? The whole competition thing that Wanda likes to set up the way she does. Yeah, so Mel knew that they would go back and forth.
Because
but at the end of the day, Kiki, you shouldn't do that. That's your family. Like you should.
At the end of the day, yes, Kiki. And I'm sorry. Is you mad? Because I don't care what Kiki say. If your ass is in there stealing pills, Kiki.
That's not a little bitty thing. That's not a little bitty thing.
I'm not gonna bring you out to my people's house and them not knowing you steal their stuff. You might
steal what she said it. Listen, I had a little problem. I used to be stealing stuff out the medicine cabinet. It wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm like, wait, hold on.
That was like,
the bed bugs are not a big deal. The stealing things out of the medicine cabinet, that's an issue. Yeah.
I would be upset about the bed bugs. You didn't have to tell them I had bed
bugs. And I mean, maybe the delivery was messed up, but Kiki.
Yeah. Come on, girl. So Tisha was like, she knew her and she knew it was my cousin, and Kiki knew what I was going through. And what was you going through, girl? You just said you ain't had no evidence, but now Kiki know what you was going through. So they asked Kiki, has Tisha ever speculated anything about Marceau cheating? And she was like, I mean, you know how most females do. And then Tisha went on, it was like, she found a naked picture of a girl in Marie's phone. So I was like, what? How much evidence do you need? A lot of things, come on now. Naked things
and
can
I'm
be a lot
sorry,
of things.
but what every woman goes through is not that. Like, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Naked like what? Naked like Instagram model naked, or naked like she was somewhere that you recognize naked? Like,
I'm not gonna be that bent out of shape by Instagram naked.
That's what I'm saying. What are we talking about?
I'm gonna be like, keep saving pictures. That's a conversation. Keep saving these pictures. And you're gonna find a mess of man on my screenshot.
If she was down to credit one, we got an issue.
Oh, Kimmy said not to talk about that.
Oh, sorry, Kimmy, my bad. But next week we got Wanda gonna be talking, and Stormy and Destiny. So the other ones, y'all, they ain't even show what's the other one name? When you see
Tiffany,
they ain't even showed her.
Because they don't want to bring up when Tiffany was down there trying to pull records, and that's probably why she don't work down to the thing no more anyway, because she was giving out confidential information, pulling people's things. And we the people said they got fired. They told Kimmy that.
Because they had, remember her and Mel was out there doing all them records and stuff.
They was out in the record place.
They was all up in it. We know that's y'all MO. I want to know what the men though with the car. She was on the something, child. Well, that was reunion part 1. We'll see how part 2 go. They said to Destiny, why you even on the show? I said the same thing. You ain't telling nothing. Where's LeBaric? We don't even know about LeBaric. You don't want to talk about the new guy.
Did I hear that something happened like over the holiday, I feel like, and Mel invited LeBerick and all of them, and they was,
They was over there. Now don't invite LeBerry. But Tiffany hanging with Martell, so I mean not Tiffany, Destiny. So I guess. Ain't got time. Come on, D, what you gonna tell them what to do for the new year? That's it? You tell them Happy New Year? It's time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
He said it.
Crazy night because they got them G boys and them GUN.
Oh, all right. He's spelling. All right, now. We'll see y'all on the next one, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.